How do you help the team stay resilient during the tough times?
I think it's just part and parcel of the game, isn't it? Professional sport, professional rugby, is you're going to have injuries, you're going to have losses, and there's tough times. So the reality is, it's a pretty simple approach. You just have to dust yourself off and go again. And I think as leaders, it's really important. Sometimes you have to come in here on a Monday morning and fake it to a certain extent, because if I walk in here dragging my bottom lip and don't show the resilience that's required from me, then obviously the players will sense that, and it's contagious then. But I think my approach is pretty simple. We deal with it, we review it thoroughly, we move on pretty quickly.
Yep. And I guess the team environment's pretty important to that, getting around each other.
Oh, for sure, and that's we need to make sure that it happens, and the sun comes up the next day, there hasn't been a death in the family or anything like that. We're going to lose a game of rugby every now and then, but it's really what's your body language. Your true character comes out in times of adversity when you need to be resilient, and we encourage each other to make sure that that first and foremost we're good people when those instances happen.
So I guess expanding a bit on that, what habits do you employ within the team to maintain that resilience?
I think for me it's a little unoften, like our habits that we train daily, the standards that we have daily. I don't think you can just have a session every now and then that focuses on testing their resilience or testing their character, their mental toughness. It's a little unoften for me. It's a daily approach. Obviously, as you get closer to games, you want them to feel ready and ready to perform and play well on the big stage. But I don't do army camps or that sort of thing for 3 days and think that that's all of a sudden going to build resilience within the group. For me, it's a daily occurrence, and it's not just about working hard on the training field and that sort of thing. It's your discipline off it, your discipline to have a routine and a schedule that you live and breathe every day to be a really good professional. And naturally, off the back of that, I think you'll build resilient characters.
So rugby often requires quick adjustments during a game. How do you build that within the team to be able to make those adjustments, think on the field and build that within the team?
I think how we train, put them in situations, scenarios. Training can be pretty chaotic at times, and they need to be able to adapt and make decisions on the run, because the reality is coaches aren't on the field, so we can give them some direction during a game, but I think what's really key is working closely with your leadership group, understanding when a situation presents and then how you deal with it, how do you adapt at that particular time. But I think that's the main thing for me is making sure that you're training and throwing them into a pretty chaotic, not necessarily a clean or a pretty training session, and then how they adapt and solve problems and come up with solutions off the back of it, and then ideally you review it closely and you're better for it.
So what does community mean to the Waratahs?
Oh, it's a huge amount. I think community means a lot to the Waratahs, but to rugby in general. Rugby union's a game that's built on the grassroots. I've certainly come up through grassroots as a junior player and played at amateur level, at club rugby level, coached at amateur level, at club rugby level, and understand the importance of your volunteers, your mums, your dads, the parents that coach, and we have to be connected to our community. We have to be visible, accessible to the community. We have to want to get out there and make a difference, and understand that we were once that little boy or that little girl at the local training ground where the Waratahs or any professional team would turn up, and we're going to help inspire that next generation. But community meant an awful lot to the Waratahs and certainly to myself and to rugby in general.
What advice would you give to young athletes looking to move forward?
Advice around resilience?
Yeah, around resilience.
Yeah, I think, as I said, it needs to be a little and often approach. You need to make sure that you know what your routine and what your schedule is, and that you live and breathe that every day, and I think that's really important. You're not just going to build it by testing yourself or challenging yourself every now and then. It's a daily occurrence. You need to challenge yourself, and it's both mentally and physically. And I think for me, everyone has that little voice in their head, that will tell you that you're beaten or you're defeated, and the most resilient characters and the genuinely tough characters, whether it be on the rugby field or whether it be in business, have the ability to be able to ignore that voice and push past it and continue to want to strive to be better.